Hi, welcome to Argo Everything. Today I was cleaning up my room and I found some mice that I didn't even realize I still had. And then I pulled out all the mice that I had. There's 9 of them, including a Wacom tablet. And so I thought that we would go over all those ergonomic mice. Overall, I don't think that mice are the solution. Obviously, over 6 years, I bought 9 different mice, and I don't feel like any of them were really the answer. I think the answer is a combination of things, and I'm going to be making some videos soon covering some of like the free stuff you can actually do that I think is more important than getting an ergonomic mouse. Links to that in the description. However, I do think ergonomic mice definitely play a role. And so we're going to go through all my mice. I'll kind of give you the pros and cons of each one. And I wrote out I looked up all the prices for everything. And it looks like I spent $764 on mice. And I'm hoping that this can help save you from that. When you're in pain, it is really easy to justify spending money to try to fix the pain. But anyways, let's start out with what I recommend the least. And then we can move to what I recommend the most. So the thing I would recommend the least is a Trackpad. This one is from Jellycomb. They don't make this particular one anymore. I think it was like $80, which is way too much because it's no good. Let me also just set up my camera here so you can see from this perspective. Oops, not a picture. Okay, so here we've got a trackpad. It's really exactly like a trackpad on your laptop. And honestly, I'm trying to show you a good angle here, but like most of the movement from a trackpad, it really comes from your wrist. And that's like really what you're trying to avoid. So I did not have any success with the trackpad. I used it for a handful of weeks, and I brought it out several different times to see if it would work in different contexts, and never was really great. So there's that. Wouldn't recommend trying that. Next one is the PenMouse, and that's what it's called. You can find them for anywhere between like $5 and $30. I don't know why there's such a range. They all seem the same. But basically, this is a pen, and it has a little holder, and then it's just a traditional light sensing mouse, and you're supposed to hold it like this. In the ergonomic mouse world, there's a lot of talk about achieving a pen grip, or really just anything to get more of a handshake grip instead of like holding your hand like this. So I thought, oh, this will be absolutely amazing. Luckily, it wasn't a lot of money, but first of all, it's a pain and a half to try to switch between your keyboard and then the mouse because you have to like physically pick it up, put it down. So it's not good at all in that regard. If you're doing a lot of mousing, I guess the biggest downside, let me show you. So there's a button here, a scroll wheel here, another button up here. And I guess using the mouse itself is not that big of a deal, but clicking is really hard. And when you click, it makes the mouse move a little bit, so it's almost impossible to click anything because when you try to click, your cursor moves because when you click down, it moves the mouse. Hopefully you can see that. So if you're gonna try to use this mouse, it is only like $5. Definitely get dual click software. Just search that. There is some free dual click software so that you don't have to physically click. But overall, not a great mouse. The next mouse is kind of following the same idea. It's this Wacom Tablet. It has the same problem as the last one where in order to switch back and forth, you have to literally pick up this pen to write with. I created a little stylus holder for it which helps a little bit, but still, it's a pain and a half. This really shifts the stress of mousing to like kind of these thumb muscles and your index finger. And it seems like this would be so comfortable because it's really like comfortable to write with, pen and paper, right? But this did not work for me for very long at all before I started feeling pain. And I persisted using it through that pain, and it really gosh, it is the thing that probably has debilitated me the most. I would definitely not get a Wacom tablet unless you intend to use it for drawing. It has a feature where you can use it as a mouse, and you can either map the screen to here. So if I wanted to click the red X at the top of a browser, I'd have to come up here and click, and then it directly maps. Or you can just make it so any movement of the pen causes movement of your cursor. You can click by pushing down or by clicking the button here. But it just caused so much stress for me in my hand, and I just wouldn't recommend it. It's also like $100, so you don't want to get that one. Next here, I've got a vertical mouse. And there's a lot of different kinds of vertical mice. I tried this one. It is the J-Tech digital mouse. It was like $30 approximately. And you grip it like this. And then you move. So it seems like it would be a really great mouse because it really, so one, puts your hand in that handshake position. That's great. And then when you move it, you can see my wrist isn't moving at all. Instead, I don't know how much you can see it, but it forces my actual arm and my shoulder to move. That can be bad because you can get stress in your shoulder from mousing that can cause pain up here or referred pain down. And I also find that because you can only use your shoulder muscles to move it, you just really can't get any fine precision. You can't use your fingers to get fine precision. You can't really use your wrist to get fine precision. And I'm really good at learning how to use new, crazy, different mice, but this was almost impossible for me. It broke 3 weeks in, but I was fine with that because it really sucks. I feel like this is super negative. I've got one that I'm actually kind of positive about. So this I call a gun mouse because you hold it like this, and you got a trigger there, and pew pew pew. So let's look at it under the camera. It is a little bitty trackball, and of course, so instead of like most mice where you push the mouse around, this one you can use while holding in any position really. And so you click here. That's a really comfortable way to click. And then you use your thumb to do all the movement. And you can get a lot of precision here. It also has a scroll wheel. This I used for 6 months very heavily, and then I started to have pain in my thumb. So I really can't recommend this mouse because you got to be careful, like really any form of mousing. Mousing is just such a repetitive task that it's going to cause problems kind of no matter what. But this, I would recommend for certain circumstances. So they also have ones that aren't wireless, or that are wireless. But I'm kind of lazy. I like to lay on my bed, and then I have like a stand to put my computer on. And so I'll just be like laying there and using my computer. And that's great. I think that's what it was designed for. It's designed as a travel mouse. So in case you don't have a surface, like you're on a plane or something, and you just don't have a surface to use a mouse on, you can just use this. And it's really good for that. Also, if you're just in a lot of pain with your wrist, and you just need to get out of that pain right away, you need to give your wrist a break. This is really cheap. I think it's also about $30. That's a common price. And for just $30, you can immediately get out of pain because it just doesn't use any of the standard muscles that you normally use to mouse. But I would definitely caution it should be a temporary thing. So that's a really fun one. We got 3 more. This one is a pretty standard mouse. However, it is a gaming mouse, so it has a high DPI, and that can be really beneficial. DPI stands for dots per inch. So basically, it's like if the mouse visually is looking at the ground, and within 1 inch, how many dots can this mouse register? So if it can register a lot of dots, then if you move it, it can just, basically, if it's high DPI, then when you move it a little bit, it moves the cursor a lot, and, vice versa. So having a high DPI is valuable, and I feel like a traditional mouse like this mice are built like this for a reason. This is the easiest thing to use. This one also has a free scrolling scroll wheel, which I find super comfortable and awesome. So this was about $80, but really any gaming mouse would recommend. Of course, it's not going to magically solve all your problems, but it is better than a lot of cheap standard mice. Next one I've got for you is itty bitty. This one's $150. It is the Propoint Swiftpoint is what it's called. And this one also goes into the whole pen grip style. So it's got a little dip here. Put your thumb in it. It's a little dip here. Put your other finger right there. Now you're in this pen grip style. And it's got a button here to click, and a middle click, and the other click. It's got a little scroll wheel here. So you can scroll like that. You can mouse. This mouse also has a high DPI. I got it because it's so small. And with a lot of mice, I feel like you kind of have to pick them up and move them. And I was like, that's not a good motion. And it's just they just seem so heavy, and that seemed like it was a problem. And I would still agree with that assessment. So here it's so small, you can really easily use your fingers to move it around. However, it has one big downside, and that is similar to this PenMouse. It's so little that when you click, it can move the mouse. So it can wiggle the pointer. So you're trying to click, but suddenly your pointer moves, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even click. And the only way to click properly is to really grip this mouse. And then that creates a lot of stress in your hand and kind of defeats the whole ergonomic purpose. However, I do think this could be a really great mouse if you're using dual click software. So I wouldn't fully discourage this. I think the really nice thing is that, one, it's really easy to transition back and forth, unlike some of those pen mice. And then you can still use your fingers to do a lot of the motion as opposed to needing to use your wrist. But it also doesn't limit you. You can use your wrist and you can use your shoulder. So I feel like it's potentially a really versatile mouse. However, its big weakness is clicking. So definitely use dual click software if you're going to use this mouse. Unfortunately, I feel like the mice I'm recommending are the expensive ones. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Sometimes you get what you pay for. Now, this last one, though, it definitely seems like, God, does it really need to be that expensive? This one's $250 bleeping dollars. This is the RollerMouse Red. Really interesting. So you've probably never seen a mouse quite like this. Let's take a look. So the way this works is that there is a bar here, and then there's a little tube on that bar. And you move the tube back and forth to move your cursor back and forth, of course. And you roll the tube up or roll it down to move the cursor up and down on your screen. And that sounds weird, but it is super intuitive, super easy to use. I think one of the main benefits of this guy is that you're intended to use both hands. And that way you can just do little finger movements. Look at that. However, your palms want to sit here, and then you're kind of forced to like lift up like this, which is not good. So I would definitely also get a little wrist rest. And just get your own wrist rest. Don't buy the one that they sell because it just doesn't look like it's going to be high enough. But then you can rest the base of your palms on this wrist rest, and then you can move like this, and it works really well. Unfortunately, it doesn't pair super well with the Kinesis keyboard, which I think is the best ergonomic keyboard. You end up having to, this is so deep, and then your keyboard goes up here, so you end up having to really reach and your shoulders round, and that's just not good. But if you have a more standard keyboard, I would definitely recommend this. Do be careful because the muscles it's going to strain are the exact same muscles you use to type. However, that's good because typing isn't like super bad for your body. But just be cautious of that. Using this mouse, it made it a little harder for me to type. So cautious there, but it is a good mouse overall. There's actually one mouse that I forgot because it's taped to my keyboard. So let me show you it. It's $30. Ooh. Oops. Okay, sorry. I just dropped you. Let me show you this last mouse. I almost forgot about it because it's taped to my keyboard. But it's just Logitech Trackball. And like I said, it's only $30. And what I really like about this guy is that I was able to tape it to the middle of my keyboard. And so I can go from here to here. And really, anytime you have a mouse where you can use it with both hands, and you can just do a lot of little finger movements, it's just really great. So, using this exclusively gave me pain. Really, using any mouse exclusively gave me pain. But I would say this is a really solid option. And if you're struggling with typing and feeling like you're getting pain from that too, I would definitely get this combination. Get the Kinesis keyboard and the mouse. It works really well. I tried using the trackball on its own with just one hand, and that was really, really uncomfortable for me. So, I don't know. That's what I have to say there. Now, with these ergonomic mice, know that, like, what will work for you may vary. Like, a lot of people really swear by the vertical mice, and they say that they work so well for them. For me, not so much, but, just take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Again, I'm going to have some links in the description to some advice that is totally free, doesn't require any purchases, like an ergonomic mouse. And I think will actually give you a lot more bang for your buck when it comes to trying to protect your wrists from repetitive stress. But hopefully this has at least been fun to see all the different kinds of crazy mice out there. But I'll see you guys next time.